Yep. Good evening, everyone. So, everyone practiced the previous concept we learned. Everyone tried creating the project. You enabled React. Yeah, right. Have you checked both version syntaxes? I showed you creating virtual DOM. Which one you used? CDN or offline library? Offline library, you have to link from UMD system. Huh? So basic message, just we displayed one message, welcome to React. No? And we learned React 17 previous version syntax and new. You can try both of them. How to create a virtual DOM and render virtual DOM we learned. No? Right. So once you've done this, if any issues are there at the end of session, you let me know. I will check. Huh? So now today we are going to discuss about React components. We are going to learn about React components. In these components, we will learn several JavaScript topics also. We are going to see JavaScript concepts also here. So we are going to learn about what is component, how it is designed, how it works and all. So first concept we learned in the introduction, features of React. One key feature is React is component based. So what is a component and how a component is designed? These topics you need to learn. Let's see. First, I will show one example. What is a component? So here we are using Amazon. This is Amazon. When you open Amazon screen, officially this Amazon is built in React. Amazon, Netflix, Facebook, you have Instagram, all these are built with React.js. The front end that you see in all these are done by using React. Amazon is an official React app. And when you see this Amazon, I hope you people know few names technically. Suppose, so can you name this sliding banner that we have? At the top, there is a sliding banner. Na? Do you know its technical name? It is called as carousel. That is known as carousel. So carousel contains sliding banners and how it behaves, every few seconds a new slide will change. You have next and previous buttons. User clicks on next button, previous button, it will go to previous slide, next slide. That means it comprises of some design, it comprises of styles, and it contains some logic also. So professionally, this is called as a component. We call it as a component. So component means carousel is a component. So what a component means? Technically, you can say component is a reusable design. It's not design. It contains styles. It contains some logic and functionality. So if you want to reuse it, change it in different locations you want to implement, then components are very easy. Components allow reusability, easy extensibility, clean separation, Everything you can manage by using components. So we have to learn how to design these components now. Not only this, I hope you people know uh, below we have some product details. These components are called cards. We call them cards. For example, you see there is a search bar. This is called input group because it is a combination of text box, buttons, everything combined into one group. So every front end user interface in single page application is designed with components. So now today we are going to see how to design these components. For that, we need to learn so many JavaScript basic concepts. Let's see. So first point, what you know about component and what is a component, we have to discuss that. Let's see the first point. So component is, what is a component? Component is a reusable design, reusable template. Technically, how you define components? Components are reusable templates. Technically, component comprises of three things: design, styles, and logic. You can say actions. So component comprises of design, styles, and logic. Generally, how we design, how we style, and how we write the logic. Actually, design with HTML, styles with CSS, and actually logic, not, we don't use directly JavaScript. Here we use JSX. That means we use JavaScript XML. JavaScript XML and TSX. So this is TypeScript XML. By using JavaScript and TypeScript XML. JavaScript XML, TypeScript XML, which you will learn in our React class. I will explain what is it. So we are not using directly HTML only and JavaScript. It is a combination of concept called JSX, JavaScript XML. So a component contains design, a component contains some styles, and it comprises of some logic. Actually, uh, I will show you one point in general HTML itself. Suppose you are using some HTML element, like you are using a HTML element input type as text. It is having an attribute like required. It is having like max length, some 4, something like this. Do you know when you put max length as 4, after reaching 4 characters, it will not allow to type anything. How this is possible? Some logic might be there. Obviously, na. That means how it stops entering any value suddenly. That means some logic is working behind. And if you don't enter anything inside text box and submit, then it shows please enter a value. Means it's working with some logic behind. So do you know, because in JavaScript in current generation, we are not teaching this. Earlier means 8-10 years back, JavaScript means we used to teach how to design such components. But now we are not designing components in JavaScript. We are doing with React Angular. So we are not teaching them. Do you know in JavaScript also we can design components? Actually, how it works is, see, we will have a function. The function name will be input. It will take a parameter type and it will have some logic. Now, whenever in the user interface you are writing input, that means you are calling a function. And into that you are passing type as text box or email or something. That means you are mentioning its data type. So technically behind this design, there is logic. That means how a text box is designed, how a form is designed, how a date picker is designed. These are all designed by using some logic. And remember, actually, this function input, it will return some presentation, it will contain some styles, and it will contain some logic. So, how your elements are designed, buttons, text box, checkbox. You know, checkbox once click, it will be tick mark. That's logic. That means you click, how it knows you clicked. And on click, how it put a tick mark. That means all this is some styling, logic, everything working. So technically, every component that you are using in a design is created by using functions or by using classes. In JavaScript, you have functions and classes. We can use classes to design a component or we can use function. But classes we are not using in current generation. In latest versions, we are not using classes. We are mostly depending on which concept? Function. We are not using classes anymore. Why we are not using classes? Because React 18, 19 onwards, we are avoiding classes because class belongs to OOP, object oriented programming, and using OOP concept in any programming language. You know the drawbacks of OOP. What are the drawbacks of OOP? OOP languages are heavy, they are slow, they need more memory, they are interacting slow, rendering slow. They are very effective, but they need more memory. They are very slow in interactions. That's the reason in modern generation, we are avoiding using classes. Actually, even today in several projects, they use classes. In our class, we will learn about classes, but our main concentration will be on functions. For example, I will show you here. So I will show their official documentation here. This is React official website. And in this, I will show you pure component. And you see, they have a simple concept here. So what is it? What they say is, so we recommend defining components as functions instead of class. That is from the current generation. So class components are still supported by React. They will work, but we don't recommend using them in new code. This is their official statement. Because many times when we start a React batch, many real-time learners come. They are already working in companies. They come and they say that in our company, all projects are classes only. So we will teach both. We will learn how to deal with classes and functions. But if they are using an old version, that old version is now migrated to new. That means they need to change from old to new. In the new version, we are not recommending classes anymore. We are using functions. So now what they have to do, if they are working in existing project, their project is built with classes, they need to change them to functions. You will understand both differences, how to handle them. So, how components are designed? To design components, you need to know about one important concept, that is function. So, what is the component main purpose? Actually, components allow reusability, they allow extensibility, they allow separation and maintainability and testability. These are all the key features of using components. We can easily reuse the design, we can easily extend the design, we can easily maintain and test the designs. That is the major advantage. And components components can be created using two techniques. So what are those two techniques? One, we can use a JavaScript class, or you can use a JavaScript function. We can use classes and functions. By using classes and functions, we can define. But what is the key note? So classes are still supported in a React JS, but not recommended for new code. That is not recommended for new code. New code is nothing but, we can say, for new version, it is recommended to define classes using functions. So we have to use functions to design components. So to create and work with components in React JS, you must be very strong in the concept of functions. You need to be very, very strong in JavaScript functions. So we are going to start learning from the concept of function today. So first, we are going to learn complete concept of functions in JavaScript, and that concept we will implement in our React. So why you have to learn about functions? Because in modern React, components are designed by using functions. So you need to be very strong in the concept of functions. I know that you are not aware of so many concepts in functions. You should know detailedly for handling React like technology. Let's see. So I will not go into React components first. First, we are going to learn about, this is very important. We are going to start with JavaScript, which concept function. So first we will have a complete idea on JavaScript functions, then we will implement this in React. Let's see one by one all the concept about functions. Now tell me, you learned basic JavaScript. You used a little bit basic concepts in JavaScript. What is the purpose of a function in JavaScript? Not only JavaScript, in any technology, what is the purpose of a function? How you define? What is a function? What is the purpose of a function? Reusable block of code. Good. Is there any technical name for that? Is there any technical name for this? Let's see. Actually, functions functions are used functions are used to refactor the code. Functions are used to refactor the code. This is the first point. If anyone asks what is the purpose of a function in computer programming, in computer programming, functions are used for refactoring. What is refactor? I will show you. See, suppose In this, what we will do is we will use here, we will take a simple our project. In this project, we are going to use one option. And what is it? Let's go open our project. This is our web app. That's the project we created. For JavaScript related examples, we will maintain a separate folder. JS folder I will maintain. I am adding a demo HTML page. It's a sample HTML page. I am adding some demo.js. It's a JavaScript file. I'm writing if for loop I starting with 1, I less than 10, I plus plus. I written some set of statements. I'm writing some set of statements here. And see what I'm doing. I am selecting this block of statements and I will right click on this block and you will find there is an option refactor. I hope you never observed this and you don't know about it. It's fine. What is this refactor? So when I select refactor, when we select refactor, it will ask extract to a function. And when I extract to a function, it will ask a name, print numbers is the name, and automatically it will create a function and it will call. So you are creating a function for reusing, and function is refactoring the code. What is the purpose of a function? It is used to refactor the code. What is refactoring? Refactoring is the process of extracting a set of statements and enclosing in a block, a named block, so that you can reuse and access from any location. So this mechanism is called refactor. I hope you people, if you learnt any OOP language, you have the words refactor and reflection. Refraction and reflection is very famous in OOP languages. What is reflection? Java reflection API, .NET reflection APIs. What is reflection? Reflection is the process of tracking the members of any class. Suppose an object is given to you. You need to know what properties and methods an object contains. Generally, when you learn about any JavaScript classes, you learnt about any Java class or .NET class or some classes, your trainer will tell you this class will have these members. Am I right? Now, in any company, they designed their own classes. Your senior designed a class and you have to use the class. How you will know what is present inside the class? By using a mechanism called reflection. You cannot be a real-time developer in any software company without the knowledge of reflection. You can't. Because in software development companies, we build lot of classes and our juniors are going to build apps using those classes. We will not explain them what properties class have. They have to know. How they know? By using a mechanism called what? Reflection. It's a very important topic, especially you will learn while learning OOP languages. And here it is not reflection, it is called as what? Refraction. So functions are used to refactor the code. What is refactoring? So refactoring is the process of extracting a block of code, a set of statements, and enclosing in a named block so that you can separate and reuse the block. So that you can separate and reuse the block. This process is called refracting. We call as a refactor. So if anyone asks what is the purpose of a function in any programming language, actually later you will learn more detail. To refactor the code, we have three important concepts. In software programming, to refactor the code, we have functions, we have methods, and we have procedures. We have three things. In any software programming, you will come across with functions, methods, and procedures. So if anyone asks how to refactor the code, you can refactor the code using three techniques: functions, methods, and procedures. What is difference between them? All three are used for refactoring. What is difference between a function and a method and a procedure? Difference is technically a function must always return a value. Function should return a value. So it cannot be void type. A function always returns a value. Method is always void type. Methods will not return any value. They will perform a functionality. So methods are always void type and functions are always with a return. They are always with a return. In general programming, and procedure have a hybrid behavior. In one situation, it will be void. In another situation, it can be returning value. It can change. So in your technologies like Java, .NET, PHP, Python, all these technologies, usually they don't have procedures. You will find procedures only in languages like PL, SQL, SQL. You learn stored procedure. Why it is called as a stored procedure? Why it is not called as a function, or why it is not called as a method? Why it is called as a procedure? Procedure contains some set of statements. Na? Why you don't call it as a function? Why you don't call it as a method? Why you call it as a procedure? What is the meaning of procedure? Procedure means in one situation it will return a value. In another situation it can be void. Suppose in a stored procedure you return select star from table. So if there is no data in table, it will be void. Am I right? If there is some data, then it will return. That means it can change the behavior. Functions always return and methods are always void and procedures will be changing. In JavaScript, everything is a function. That means function have both behaviors. It can work with return, it can be void. So there is no separate like function and methods in JavaScript. That's the reason many people are confused. Some people call JavaScript functions, some people call JavaScript methods. In JavaScript, there is no change. Function and method both have same behavior. That means in JavaScript, a function can be void and it can return. A method can be void or it can return. It can return. So actual difference is there. In actual computer programming, what is difference between a function, method, and a procedure? Functions always return. So methods always void and procedures will change according to the situation. But in JavaScript, function have all behavior. Function have all behavior. So JavaScript function can be void, it can return, and it can have both dynamic behavior also. You are going to see that, right? So technically, we have difference. So here, while working with function, one important question here is the frequently asked question: what is difference between function, method, and procedure? That is the basic point. I hope you know the answer now. Function always always returns a value or function. And method always void. So, and procedure can change dynamically. So that means it can be void or with the return. It have both behaviors. So this is the first point you should know. In JavaScript, why we need a function? In JavaScript, we need a function to refactor the code. Why you have to refactor the code? For reusability, separation, extensibility, we have to refactor the code. That is the technical answer you have to give, right? Related to function. Next important is function configuration. Next important thing you should know how a function is written, how a function is configured, right? Let's see. Actually, a function in JavaScript can be configured using two techniques. We have declaration and we have expression. We have two techniques of function configuration. A function in JavaScript can be defined in two ways. We have a function declaration, function expression. You see here, syntactically, declaration means we have a function, some hello, and it is having some functionality. We have expression. Expression means we have constant hello is equal to function. This is called function expression. In JavaScript, a function is defined in two ways. One is using declaration, using expression. Remember, you can use any keyword. You can use var or what? Let or what? Const. You can use any keyword. Var, let, const, any keyword you can use. So what is difference between these two? What is difference you learned in JavaScript about function declaration and function expression? What is difference between these two? Difference between function declaration and expression is function declaration will support hoisting. Expression will not support hoisting. Expression will not support hoisting. Actually, in JavaScript, you learned difference between var, let, and const. You learn, na? So var can be hoisted, na? Var can hoist a variable, but var cannot hoist a function. It can hoist a variable, but it cannot hoist a function. What is hoisting? Hoisting means there is no order in declaring and using. Generally, you have to declare and use. If you can use it and later declare, then means it is supporting what? Hoisting. And that's general thing you learned in var, let, const difference. So here the key point is function cannot be hoisted if it is an expression. Even you define with var, it cannot be hoisted. That means you have to use it after declaration only. What is advantage of function declaration you can use anywhere. That means it supports hoisting. For example, I will show you here. Let's see. I'm creating a simple script for you. Means just JavaScript we are learning. We have a function hello, and I'm writing document.write some hello react something. And you can see that as of now, it is not showing any output. Obviously, it will not show any output. So why it is not showing any output? Because we have to call the function. And I am calling the function hello above. That's okay. That's okay. You can call it. No problem. It works. I am calling above. It's fine. No problem. You can access anywhere. Suppose I am defining this not by using this technique. Let's do one thing. I am creating var hello is equal to what is it? Function. In that we have hello. And you see I am trying to call before, and you can see that it's not working. It says hello is not a function. So I am trying to access below. Then you can see it is working fine. So often in React interview means, remember, 90% questions are JavaScript, right? These days you can make career as React developer, only React developer, so many companies want. And for freshers especially, they will simply ask, you have knowledge in good JavaScript? Enough, right? They will take you as a React developer because JavaScript is required. That's it. So you cannot be a React developer without JavaScript. And that's the reason you must be prepared very well for JavaScript based very depth level questions. So first thing, what is difference between an expression and a declaration? Actually, do you know var supports hoisting? For example, you learn now. Suppose x equal to 10, document dot write x equal to the value of x. Am I right? But x is not declared. We are declaring x below. And you are using x above. So no problem. It will work. Actually, var allows hoisting. But it will not allow hoisting if it contains a function. If it contains a value, it can be hoisted. It cannot hoist a function. So technically, if anyone asks what is difference between declaration and expression, so that is the key point you should know. First, what is it? Declaration. I will give an FAQ here. So what is difference between function declaration and expression? So how do you answer this? So declaration allows hoisting. Not hosting, it is hoisting. And expression will not allow hoisting even if defined with var. It will not allow hoisting even if defined with var. So that is the reason you will be confused, like in a React like technology project. You will see some people write expression like, some people write declaration like. You will be confused. Why they are writing same function two ways? That means some functions they write expression, some functions they write declaration. So if anybody is writing expression, what does the intention is? What is the intention if he is writing an expression? It means that you have to use after this part only. Suppose you designed a component in such a way that it can be accessed anywhere. Then better you use what? Declaration. You designed a component and you want to access only after that particular scope. Then better you go with expression. Even if anybody tries to access before that scope, it will not work. Expressions will not allow. So that is the major difference between the declaration and expression. One more difference is there. One more difference is nothing but in the second case, what is the function name? So what is the function name? Hello na? No, hello is not function name. Hello is a memory. In that memory, there is an anonymous function. There is an anonymous function. That means a function without name. What is advantage of this? Do you know? Later, if I declare with var or let, later into this hello, I can assign a new functionality. What is advantage of expression? Expression can change functionality, but declaration will have the same functionality, but expression can change the functionality. So what is the speciality of expression? What is the speciality of expression here? Observe what is the speciality of expression. Previously what I written, I will put it here. Yeah. What is the speciality of expression is specialty of expression into that hello. Currently it is printing hello react. It is printing na. Later into that hello, I can assign another functionality. I can just put a simple option, welcome to React, or I can do something else. That means into the same, there is another functionality. Declaration is not doing that. Declaration always do the same thing. Expression allows you to change because the expression will not use a function name. It will use an anonymous. So what is advantage of function expression? Another important point is expression allows to change the functionality. Expression allows to change the functionality. So what you can do, you can assign a new functionality if configured with var or let. You know that constant will not allow na? Constant will not allow to assign. If you defined using var or let, then it will allow. And one more important point is here. Another concept here, you should know that function in expression is anonymous. Anonymous means without name. It is anonymous without name. Then if there is no name, how you access it? Actually, anonymous function is accessed using IIFE pattern. It is accessed using IIFE pattern. It is done with IIFE pattern. In many experience level interviews, this question is very common. What is IIFE in JavaScript? IIFE is nothing but immediately invoking function expression. Immediately invoking function expression. That is IIFE. That means what is the concept? What is your memory name? Memory name is hello. In that memory, there is a function. Then how to immediately invoke the function using a parenthesis? This is called IIFE. You might have done this in arrays and all. I will tell you, simple point I will tell you. See, for example, suppose where data is an array. In that 10, at 0, there is 10. At 1, there is a function. and it is having document dot write some hello. Now, how do we access the function which is present inside array? So we have to use data of what? 1. In that memory, there is a function. How to invoke a function which doesn't have a name? We have to invoke with an empty parenthesis. This is called IIFE. So generally when we ask in interviews what is IIFE, people get confused. They don't know. They never heard about this in their life. But technically JavaScript IIFE pattern means invoking a function immediately after the memory name. For example, now what it will do is it is going to invoke it. It is going to invoke. And very important, do you know, suppose I written a function without any name. It is having document dot write some welcome, something it is having. If a function don't have a name, you can enclose in a parenthesis, and I enclosed in a parenthesis, it is not working. How to call an empty parenthesis? Immediately invoke. This is called IIFE, then it will run. This is called IIFE, immediately invoking function expression. So in interviews, they ask if function is written as an expression, how you access? If function is written as a declaration, we use a function call. Am I right? If a function is written as declaration, we access the function as a function call. But if a function is written as expression, it will not use a function call. It will not use a function call. If you say function calling, then it is wrong. It will not use a function called. It uses which mechanism? IIFE. Immediately invoking function expression. So this is very important for interviews. You need to know. So here, what is the concept? I will explain another point here. What is another point you should know here is, so function declaration, function with declaration requires a function call to access and use from any location. Am I right? So function with declaration requires a function call. Function, for example, roughly I will give a syntax here. Function, some hello, and how you access the function by using hello. And this is called as function call, right? And a function with expression, function as expression, not with expression, function as expression requires what? Function as expression requires IIFE to access. And what is IIFE? We know. Constant, suppose hello is equal to, what is it? Function. Then how we can access hello and a parenthesis? This is not a function call. This is called as what? IIFE. That's the important point you should know. So function have expression and function have declaration. So as a developer, which one you will use? That depends on requirement. So what is the requirement of function declaration? You can configure anywhere, access anywhere. Then better always use declaration. If you have to restrict accessibility only after that specified scope, then better use an expression. If you use declaration, you can access accidentally anywhere. We want to restrict, then we write with expression. That is another point. I hope you are clear. Right. So how a function can be configured? Two ways. Function declaration, function expression. How we can access them? In two ways. By using function call and by using IIFE. What is IIFE? immediately invoking function expression. It is a design pattern used to access functions which are written as expressions. Understood? Right. Next, important, you need to know about function structure. What is the basic structure of a function? You need to know about the function structure. For example, see, actually, what is the function structure? Let me show you. Suppose you are writing a function. So we are writing any function. Some print is a function, parameters, and you written like this. Yeah. Now, generally, we are writing some function like this. Now, actually, in this, so many parts are there. So this part, this part is, this part, the keyword, the name and parameters. This part is called declaration. That is called declaration. And this part of only name and its parameters, this is called signature. And this part, what actions it can perform, this is called definition. That is called as definition. Definition. So every function structure comprises of three main parts. So the function declaration, function signature, and function definition. So declaration means it defines the name, parameters, and the functionality. Means it defines the behavior. Function keyword indicates what it is. So how to access the function anywhere? How we access a function anywhere? We have to access the function by using its signature. Signature means we use only this part na, function name and parameters. This is called function signature. What functionality it does, that is called as definition. Do you know abstract functions don't have definition? Right? They don't have definition. Definition is later implemented. They will have only declaration. Declaration. So you should know that every function have three parts: the declaration, the signature, and definition. Definition. So signature is to call the function. Definition is to identify its scope and behavior. And definition is to identify what actions it can do. The actions performed by function we call definition. That is called definition. So every function has three parts. So let's make a note here. So we have three important things. So function structure, every function. So with declaration is built with three parts. So one is declaring, signature, and definition. We have three things. So function and name and params. This is called as what? Declaration. That is called declaration. Name with parameters. This is called as signature. We call it as signature. Signature. And what functionality it does? This is called as what? Definition. Every function has these three parts. This we call definition. So we have function declaration, function signature, and function definition. These are very, very important in function. What is the purpose of declaration? Declaring is used to configure the scope and behavior. It is used to configure the scope and behavior. Signature is used to call a function Am I right? And definition defines the actions performed by actions to perform. What actions it should perform, that is definition. So every function has these three parts, these three important parts. I hope this is also clear. So whenever you write a function, it will have a declaration, signature, and definition. It will have definition. So this is structure. Next, important in function, you need to know about function parameters. This is another very important function parameters. So here, what is the concept of parameters? That means here, why a function needs parameter? What is the role of a parameter? What is a function can be parameterless or parameterized. What is the role of parameters in a function? Uh-huh. What? That means what parameters are doing. Parameters are used to modify a function. They are used to modify a function. So generally fresher level people answer that to pass values. But interior question is why you are passing values? That is the question. We know that parameters are for passing value. Why you are passing a value? Why you are passing a value into a function? What you are trying to do by passing a value? By passing a value, we can modify the function. The main purpose of parameters are used to modify the function. How you modify a function? For example, let's see here, we are writing a function print numbers and we are having a for loop for where I starts with 1, I less than or equal to 5, I plus plus, like this we are doing. And document dot write, I am printing the value of I with a break. That's it. So this is a parameterless function. We are accessing print numbers. Then it is going to print the numbers from 1 to 5. I will access print numbers again. Again, it will print the numbers 1 to 5. Am I right? It will print the same thing again and again. It is going to print the same thing again and again. How you will modify it? One time I want 10, another time I want 4, another time I want 6. Then how you will modify a function? We can pass a parameter into it, like how many. Am I right? And we will say how many. And we will say here how many to pass? 5. Here how many to pass? 10. And every time it will not be same now. It is changing. That means you are able to modify the function by using parameters. Otherwise, it will do the same work. If you can modify the function, then it is called, so that can be done by using what? Parameter. What is the role of a parameter in any function? Why we need function with parameters? This is very important. So function can be parameterless or parameterize. Parameterize. Usually parameters are used to modify a function. That is the technical term. What is the purpose of parameter? They can modify the function. They can make the function work in different situations. They can modify. They are used to modify a function. And very important is when you are defining parameters, the parameter that you defined, when you configure the parameter that you defined in function declaration. In function declaration, you are having a parameter. Am I right? This is called as formal parameter. And the parameter that you value that you pass into the parameter, these are called actual parameter. Actual parameter. That means we have formal parameters and actual parameter. And very important is formal parameter into the formal parameter, an actual parameter is passed. It is assigned. That means the actual value is stored into the formal. That means now how many is equal to 5 first time, and how many is equal to 10 second time. Right? Technically, the actual parameters are used to assign a value into the form. The formal parameters are assigned with a value by using actual. So the parameters are two types: formal parameters, actual parameters. And in JavaScript, formal parameter is just a name. You don't need any data types or anything. It is just a name. And it can handle any type of data. It can be primitive type, non-primitive type, or even a function. It can handle any type of data. This is very important now. So see here, first thing, what we need to know about parameters here. They can modify the function. So the parameters are categorized into two types. We have formal parameters and we have actual parameters. Suppose we have a function, some print, and it is param. And this param is, what is it? Formal parameter. It is a formal parameter. Another one is whenever we print and we send some hello into this. Here hello is an actual parameter. So hello here is actual parameter. And very important, in interviews they ask what is arguments then. What is difference between a parameter and an argument? How you will explain? So actual parameters are also called arguments. Actually, the point is a compiler is going to recognize these parameters as arguments. So you call them parameters, but compiler calls them as arguments. If a parameter is required and you are not passing, then compiler will report an error, argument missing. If it is expecting two parameters, you are passing only one, then it says argument missing, right? And if you are passing a parameter and it is not accepting any parameters, then it says that cannot accept arguments, right? That means technically the parameter word is not used by compiler. Compiler treats all the parameters as what? Arguments. Formal arguments, actual arguments. There can be formal or actual. In the signature, how many arguments are there? You need to pass, right? So here we have any important one is compiler. Compiler uses the parameters as arguments. Compiler uses the parameters as arguments. It can identify the arguments length, and their type. It can identify the arguments type and length also. How many arguments are there? How many types of arguments? In interviews, so many times we see in programming, they give a lot of questions on this. I will show you practically. They will say that how to find the number of arguments allowed in a function. How you will tell how many arguments are allowed in a function. How you can restrict the arguments in a function. There are so many about arguments. I will explain. We will see that. So technically, what is parameter? What is argument? The parameters are considered as arguments. If the parameters are not matching, then compiler will report the issue with the arguments. It is a formal or actual. And remember here, very important point when you are working with parameters. So if anyone asks what type of parameter a function can have. So a function can use any type of parameter. A function can use any type of parameter. Any type of parameter. It can be primitive type. It can be non-primitive type. You learned JavaScript primitive, non-primitive types, na? Non-primitive type, or it can be even a function type. You can have any type of parameter. It can be primitive, non-primitive, or function. Primitive means number, string, boolean, null, undefined, big int, and symbol. These are JavaScript primitive data types. Non-primitive means array, object, map, set. All these comes under non-primitive types. What are JavaScript primitive types? Just I will give a list here. Primitive types of JavaScript, you are having a number, you have a string, you have a boolean, you have null, you have undefined, you have a symbol, and you have big int. These are all JavaScript primitive types. So non-primitive types means non-primitive types. Non-primitive types means array, we have an object, we have a map, we have a set. This all comes under non-primitive types. So usually you can have a primitive type or a non-primitive type as parameter. You can have a function also as parameter. Here one technical thing is, I hope you learned all this, na? No, you don't know. What is symbol type, you know? What? Yes, then? You don't know, right? Symbol is a new data type of JavaScript. Big int is a new data type of JavaScript. Symbol and big int are the new JavaScript data types, right? So you might know only number, string, boolean, null, undefined as primitive type. But symbol and big int are new types. Later, I will explain them. So while working with other concepts, you'll see. Actually, big int is nothing but, suppose I will tell you here, suppose we are having X, I'm using a large number. When I'm using any large number, then JavaScript will treat as unsafe number. JavaScript will treat large numbers as unsafe numbers. Then what is problem is these numbers later in browser, they may be rounded. They can be rounded. And sometimes these numbers are blocked. That is the problem we are facing with JavaScript early days. In latest version, they invented a new data type. What is the data type is, if you are using large numbers and they are safe numbers, then you can tell the compiler that this is a safe number by using n suffix. If you put n as a suffix, this is called big integer. And it is new in JavaScript. What is the purpose of this big integer? The purpose of big integer is to tell that it is a safe integer. If you don't use suffix n, then browsers may round this number. Or browsers sometimes block this number because browsers think large numbers are unsafe. Then to make a unsafe number as safe number and tell the compiler that there is no threat in this number, you can use it directly. Then we have to use suffix n. These are called as what? We call this as what? Big int. If you use suffix n, that is a big int. And you know, number means octa, binary, hexa, exponent. These all numbers only, na? For example, you are using 0, O, some 745. This is an octa number. It is an octa number. So X is a number, but it is an octa. Right? You know, you can have like what? 0B1010, it is binary, na? It's a binary 10. So that means these are all numbers. Suppose I written 2E3, you learned it. It is exponent. 2 into 10 to the power of 3. Right? It is an exponent. These are all numbers. Big int is a new type. And symbol is also a new type. Symbol is used in objects actually. For example, you see, you learned JavaScript object. Suppose where product is an object. Product is having an ID. Product is having a name. You learned this, na? So product is having price. This is an object. Suppose I am writing object.keys and I am reading the product related all of them. I will use a map, read every product key. And what we are doing, we are reading every key and we are printing document.write key. So actually what I am doing is I am writing a program to read all the keys from an object. I am reading all the keys from an object. I am writing some option. This ID should be hidden. I don't want to show all the keys. I want to use some keys internally. Suppose if any record is having a primary key, we don't show that primary key, but we will use it. We will not show it, but we will use it. I hope you people learned in HTML also. I will show you. Now, what is the concept? ID must be there, but it should be hidden. That means individually ID will work, but while reading the entire object, ID will be hidden. How you create hidden fields? We have a new data type ID, a symbol type. If you create ID as symbol types are defined in a square brace. Then what happens is now the ID is hidden. It is not shown, but ID is present. If you want to access, you can access document.write product of what ID. You can see that product ID is working fine. It is available, but it is hidden. To create such hidden fields, we need a new data type called symbol. Mostly you will learn about symbol type when you learned about objects. When you learn about objects, symbol is a new data type of JavaScript. So number, string, boolean, null, undefined, symbol, big int. So what is the parameter type can be? So whenever you write a function and you have a name for this function, the parameter can be anything. You can have primitive type, non-primitive type, or you can have a function. This is interesting. Suppose we have success, and here success is used as a function. Now we are accessing name, and into that we are passing a function because success is function type, na? Document.write, we are writing hello success. Something like this we are writing. And you can see that whenever we execute, it is going to print that success. And remember, if a function is having a parameter as function type, if function parameter is function, the parent function is called as higher order function. In JavaScript interviews, it is a very famous question. What are higher order functions? Higher order function means a function whose parameter can be a function. If a function takes a function as parameter, then it is called as higher order function. Not only that, if a function returns a function also, it is called higher order. That we will see later. So if a function is taking a function as parameter, then it is higher order. So what are higher order functions in JavaScript? The functions which will take function as parameter. You have learned so many. So for example, do you know you learned arrays na? Right? Suppose we have data is an array. In that some 10, 20, 30, 40 like this. Now tell me how to read all elements from array. So data, I hope you people learned for each, right? This for each will take a function. That function will take every value. Am I right? It will take every value and it will return every value. Document dot write every value it will return. That means it is going to read and return every value. And here the for each is a higher order function. It is a higher order function because it takes a function as parameter. And this is having another name also. This is called function callback. Function callback is a technique where it allows you to call a function inside the function. Later, you will see other technical names also. So first point, what is a higher order function? If a function parameter is function type. If a function parameter is function type, then it is an higher order function. Higher order function. This is the first important point you should know. So if a function parameter if a function parameter is function type, then it is known as what? Higher order function. Higher order function. We call it as higher order function. This is very important for interviews and all. They ask this very much. What are higher order functions? I hope you are clear. Right. So function related parameters. Right. Now parameter related, so many points are there that we will continue in tomorrow's session. Today, is it clear? So these are all JavaScript concepts only. But in React, without knowing all this, you come to React, you can't manage. That's the reason we have to give a complete idea about this concept here first. I hope you are clear. Right. So many more there about function parameters that we will see in tomorrow's session. Am I clear? Yes. Yeah. Tomorrow will continue. Right. Thank you. Yes, Ramesh, you have any doubt? Yes, Ramesh, you have any doubt? You please unmute. You can talk.
Yeah, yeah. Is it my voice is audible? Hello?
Yes,
Uh, uh, could you please help me? What are the topics? I mean, index like that in that.
you joined a WhatsApp community?
No, no,
No?
no.
You
I
please
don't.
join the WhatsApp community. There we shared the entire course content. You can get it from there. Okay.
How to join? I don't know.
Our admin has shared a WhatsApp community link. No?
I guess I haven't received.
I will share a WhatsApp community QR.
Yes, please.
I sent you. Please check once. Huh?
Yes, yes. I got it. That one.
You join into it. You will get everything from there. Huh?
Okay, I am not sure how to join there, but
It's a WhatsApp community. You have WhatsApp number.
yes, I have
You
what.
scan the QR code through that. You will join a community. There we will upload all the information. Okay.
Oh, okay, I am unable to
Y-
see.
I sent a QR code to you, right?
You send it to me QR code or what?
You do one thing. You contact our admin number is given there.
Okay.
You contact them. They will tell you. Okay. Yes, Srinivas.
Sir, was this notes is shared anywhere, sir?
Notes also shared in the community in a Google Drive link.
In the Google Drive link, the
I
classroom.
think you joined lately. So one more time today we will share the drive link
Okay, sir.
because recent joiners may not see the previous messages. Na?
Yes, sir. Yes.
I will share one more time today. You will get it. Okay.
Okay, sir.